Video 3. Charting of my extra articles. Charting changes in commitment, trajectories of on-again, off-again relationships. This is the literature review section. So the major goal is in understanding the different paths or trajectories of romantic relationships is to be able to better predict the future dynamics and explain the ultimate outcomes of the relationships, right? And we're going to focus on-again, off-again relationships because 2/3 of adults have experienced an on-again, off-again relationship, and 1/3 are currently in one right now. And they vary in dynamics and relational quality compared to those who are stably together and stably broken up. On-again, off-again relationships may encompass certain unique turning points that other relationships do not experience. We're looking at a turning points perspective as we view relationships as a developmental process, and relationships progress and regress over time through critical events and experience. And a turning point is any event or occurrence that is associated with a change in the relationship. Previous research says dating trajectories are either relationship or event driven. Previous research does suggest that different groups of on and off partners vary in their reports of factors similar to those based in the perceptions of the relationship's stability. Basically, on-again, off-again relationships, they're unstable. Establishing trajectories is one of the means of understanding how on-again, off-again relationships differ from regular relationships. And what this study is going to do is that they're going to establish the types, which are habitual, mismatch, capitalized on transitions, controlling, and gradual, which are the 5 types of relationships, on-again, off-again relationships. And then they're going to see how the commitment differs amongst those things. And that was kind of their goal. Whatever. So the methodology, they took a total of 581 participants who are currently in or recently experienced an on-again, off-again relationship, and they were recruited from Amazon.com's Mechanical Turk website, which means that they had to be at least 18 years of age and a resident of the United States. The other qualification for the study, they had to have been in an on-again, off-again relationship either currently or in the past 5 years. Data was collected in 2 rounds. The majority of their data was collected from females, and the length of the relationship varied from less than 1 month to 386 months. They completed an online questionnaire and were asked to talk about specific turning points. Then to analyze the data, all authors independently coded all the questionnaires, and then they met up to finalize their coding schemes. Then they filled out, then that was like the questionnaire, the open-ended questionnaire part, and then they had a second part of the questionnaire, which was all on a Likert scale, and it was to fill out measures of the general relational qualities, right? Okay. And now we are in the results. Perhaps due to the on and off... I'm not cutting this out. Oops. Okay. So due to the nature of on and off relationships and the current non-student sample, of several different turning points occurred. And the more predominant ones were pregnancy, career-related obstacles, special events, serendipity, and relational transgressions. Special events being like, oh, did they come to a wedding? Did they meet my family? That type of thing. Serendipity is like big, like unexpected things, kind of, right? Then the pregnancy, having children, and career-related obstacles categories represented larger forces that may push or pull a relationship together, because if you have kids, you might want to stay with them to like save the kids, that type of thing. And then there was external factors such as life stages, like them being in different stages in their life, bad timing, geographic distance because one person moved, because remember, these are young people, they're not really like set on their path yet, right? And those played a role in the on-again, off-again relationships. And their analysis revealed that there is 3 general trajectories of commitment, and that would be steady, low, and high, or dip early and later. Dip in a steady commitment, which would either be low or high, a dip in commitment, which could either happen early or later, and a fluctuating commitment, right? And then the steady low trajectory reported lower levels of closeness, relationship, work, affection, and love. The interdependence theory says that they stayed in these relationships regardless of this because they either didn't want to be alone or they experienced lower relational quality when they went out to seek alternatives. The steady low trajectory tended to report fewer positives, i.e. love and affection, and they did not necessarily report more negatives than their counterparts, you know? The fluctuating trajectory reflects oscillations in commitment. Individuals with fluctuating trajectories only differed in their reports of relational closeness, work, and love. Individuals with dip in commitment and steady high trajectories did not significantly differ from one another. Categorizing on and off. So basically, after you get all this information, we're ending with once you categorize all these on again, off again relationships, all these on again, off again partners in either in these different you're characterizing on again, off again relationships in these different ways through their commitment strategies. It can provide further insight into the heterogeneous nature of on again, off again relationships. Because what is so frequently assumed, because since it's such a new thing to study, like it's only been being studied since the 90s, all on again, off again relationships are homogeneous. Okay, the same. And only recently did they start talking about how these on again, off again relationships might be different from one another. And establishing the different types of commitment one can have to the relationship and how there's different levels of commitment, different patterns of commitment, that's the word I was looking for, different patterns of commitment in the relationship, then there's gonna be then that proves that it's not all the same thing, and there's different things, and they're more complex than just, oh, they broke up, they got back together, ooh, yeah, that's really, really cool. And that right there was my third video, right? That was my third video for my articles, my extra articles.